Beneath the waters off Guadalcanal in the Solomon Islands lies the wreck of the Kinugawa Maru, a ship whose story is inseparable from one of the most intense naval battles of World War II. Originally built by Mitsubishi in Nagasaki, the Kinugawa Maru was a large cargo vessel, over 6,900 tons, stretching more than 130 meters in length. It began life as a commercial ship, but by 1941, like many vessels of its time, it was requisitioned by the Imperial Japanese Army and converted into an armed transport, fitted with anti-aircraft guns to support Japan's expanding war effort. By late 1942, the Pacific War had reached a critical turning point, the Battle for Guadalcanal. This island was strategically vital, and both sides poured ships, aircraft, and troops into the fight in a desperate struggle for control. In November 1942, the Kinugawa Maru became part of a massive Japanese reinforcement convoy. More than 20 ships, escorted by destroyers carrying thousands of troops, equipment, and supplies for the island. They sailed down what became known as the Slot, a narrow, dangerous stretch of water that would soon earn the name Iron Bottom Sound. But the convoy never reached its destination unchallenged. On November 14th, it came under repeated air attacks. Dive bombers, torpedo planes, and heavy bombers striking wave after wave. Ships were hit, set ablaze, and sunk. Still, the surviving transports pushed forward. By the early hours of November 15th, with a major naval battle raging nearby, the remaining ships were given a desperate order to beach themselves on Guadalcanal and unload whatever they could before daylight. The Kinugawa Maru ran aground near what is now known as Bonegi Beach. Under cover of darkness, men worked frantically, offloading troops, ammunition, and supplies. Around 2,000 personnel made it ashore, along with hundreds of cases of ammunition and large quantities of rice. But as dawn approached, their position was exposed. At first light, American forces spotted the stranded ships. Artillery from shore batteries opened fire from nearly 20 kilometers away, shells striking the Kinugawa Maru and setting it ablaze. Soon after, U.S. naval guns joined in, followed by waves of aircraft from Henderson Field and high-altitude bombers. By midday, the ship was destroyed, burning, broken, and sunk in the shallow waters just offshore. Much of its cargo never made it inland. The wreck remained partially above water for years, its bow still visible, its structure a stark reminder of the battle. Over time, storms, an earthquake in 1977, and decades of decay caused much of the ship to collapse. Today, the stern rests at a depth of about 27 meters, while parts of the wreck still lie close to the surface. And now, what was once a battlefield has become one of the most accessible and haunting wreck dives in the Pacific. As you descend, the remains of the ship begin to take shape. Twisted steel, collapsed decks, and open cargo holds that you can still swim through. Inside, the traces of its final mission remain. Artifacts, fragments of equipment, and the silent evidence of a hurried unloading frozen in time beneath the sea. Marine life has claimed the wreck. Corals encrust the metal, fish move through its broken structure, and light filters down through the openings, illuminating what was once a scene of chaos and destruction. But beneath the beauty, the history is never far away. At least some of the crew survived the sinking and made it ashore, only to face the brutal realities of the campaign that followed. The Kinugawa Maru is more than a dive site. It is part of a vast underwater graveyard, a place where history rests just below the surface. And as you move through the wreck, you are not just exploring a ship, you are passing through a moment in time when the outcome of the Pacific War hung in the balance.